Hey guys, how's it going? So, I'm about to set off to New York. We're doing I'm speaking really quiet because my kids have just gone to bed. I don't want to wake up them little monkeys. About to set off to New York in a few hours. I've got the worst virusy cold thing I've ever had. I can't even breathe through my nose. Feels like my face is going to explode. Feeling really terrible. We're leaving at 3 in the morning. Oh. Shit like this always comes at the wrong time, right? Super cold. Yeah.
Scott, what's going on?
Trying to find out what to eat to arm us for an 8-hour journey. Is it 8 hours?
8 hours 40 minutes.
8 hours 40 minutes?
It can't be 8 hours 40 minutes.
9 hours?
I feel sick.
I feel sick. I don't think there will be.
It's not quite as specific as that.
Have you got any Linda McCartney sausages in the back? Just in the padding in the back.
What we got?
I wonder if I got some from WH Smith, will they actually
Fry them up for you?
Yeah.
WH Smith don't sell Linda McCartney. WH Smith sell magazines.
No,
They might have a Linda McCartney magazine.
no, what shop does it?
We made it, guys.
Woo! Dun, dun, dun.
New York update.
Show them what I've got.
We're lost in Brooklyn, and Gav has got this.
Sorry, I've not had an operation recently.
It's nice and light, honestly. Hey guys, so we finally got here. It's been a pretty epic trip. 3 hours sleep last night, 9-hour flight, well 8.5-hour flight over here with delays and all that, all those shenanigans, and then an hour ride to the apartment that I'll show you around in a minute. We've got this super cool apartment, and then we had to go and pick up all the hire gear because we've had to hire lights and a ton of other stuff which came in a case that was just ginormous. Yeah, like this, I'm super toasted. I've just had 0 sleep, so this might be the worst video I've ever made. Hopefully not, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments. Let's go see the guys, and I'll show you around the apartment or the house. We've got this house. It's really super cool place. We've got this like cool glass wall and this sort of like crazy industrial stairing. It's really, really cool. Let's go give the guys a shout and see what they're up to. Hey guys.
Yo.
How's everybody feeling?
Is it bedtime yet?
Yeah, so we're all pretty toasted. I thought it'd be cool if we did some sort of like a Q&A thing today, because I haven't got a bass with me at the minute. It's actually in an airport somewhere. Long story, as always with basses when they get lost. But I've got to show you this. This is my room at the top of the house that I'm staying in. And if you look over here, can you see this? Let me just have a look. That there is the Empire State Building, the Chrysler, right next to it. The view is insane. But yes, I'm super stoked with the apartment because we just got it on Airbnb, right? So we didn't actually know what it was like, and I'm just gonna I'll take it on the balcony as well. It's snowing over here at the minute, so here we go. So this is the balcony. Pretty amazing. And there's the view out there. Where are we? There. Just amazing. So yeah, I'm super stoked about the apartment. I've got snow all over my feet. Yeah, I thought we'd do like a Q&A thing and make this video somewhat interesting to you. I've got these, I'm just gonna close the door. Okay, so the first question is from Johnny C. So Johnny, if you're watching this, thanks so much for leaving a comment. Much appreciated. And this is a great comment actually, or a great question should I say. It says, hey Scott, loving the new videos. Quick question, should I stress if I can't go to music school? I've got a lot going on in my life right now, family, kids, the whole thing. Will it hold me back if I can't make it to music school? So Johnny, so here's the deal, and I think this is something that I've definitely suffered from in the past because I couldn't go to music school. I tried to go to music school when I was 18, but I was actually maybe a bit older than 18, maybe in my like 19, 20, around that age. I tried to go to music school and I couldn't get in because of my grades, which is funny now because I've ended up teaching in a lot of the music schools that I originally applied for, which is, well, this is pretty funny. But the first thing I want to say about music school is it's great, you know, because going to, like, education in itself is great and it gives you access to some great, some great materials, some great teachers, and I would say what's most important as well about music school is meeting like-minded musicians that are in the same situation as you are, and I think that group learning environment can be a really positive thing. So I think, you know, that's what music schools are great for. What they're not good for is, and if anybody out there is watching this video and you're thinking about music school, okay, you've got to understand one thing. Music school will not do the work for you, ever. It's never going to be handed to you if you just go to music school, okay? You're going to put the same amount of work in if you don't go to music school or if you do music school. You know, it's going to be a ton of work, it's going to be fun, it's going to be frustrating, it's going to be everything in between. But going to music school is not going to alleviate that hard work at all, one iota. It's still going to be really tough, and you're gonna have to put a ton of practice in. So if you think that music school is a shortcut, you absolutely should not go to music school, because it isn't. There's no shortcut, okay? The only shortcut is like inspiration, keep inspired, hard work, practice tons, play with as many people as you can, and I suppose like a question I like to throw out at people when they do ask me a question about music school is, and this is from my own experience as well, is can you create that experience without music school? Can you hang out with like-minded musicians? Yes, you can. Can you study with great players if you're not at music school? Yes, you can. And I'm saying this because I did it. I couldn't go to music school, so I went for private lessons all over the place. You know, I studied with Gary Willis, I studied with Adam Rogers, Ralph Alessi, Jeff Andrews, Brad Shepik, you know, all of these crazy guys I went to grab lessons from. And I wasn't in music school, but I just took the opportunity that I suppose the internet has given us to get in contact with these great musicians and set up lessons for myself. And the actual reality around it as well is when you're at that point of going to music school, you know, weekly lessons they're okay to a certain point, but a lot of the concepts that these guys will be giving you won't be weekly things that you can work on. They're probably broader concepts that are going to take you a little while to get down. So although weekly lessons are great because it keeps the accountability there, don't think that those weekly lessons are going to force feed you the stuff that you really need to know, or do the work for you, because the work will not be done for you, right? So if anybody's out there and you can't go to music school, You can do this. You do not need to go to music school to make this a career. But there's a ton of musicians that are world class, cutting edge, at the top of their game that didn't go to music school. There's more musicians that are cutting edge that maybe did a semester or so in music school, okay? So don't feel like you're at a disadvantage. Just feel like you've just got a different take on it, and you're gonna have to create the things that music school give you, like the connections and like the access to teachers and all of the things that music school kind of package up for you. You can do that, but you've just got to create it on your own. And I think it makes it fun. It was fun for me to do that. I don't know, it gave me a really big kick, you know, to try and do that on my own. When I saw guys going to music school and I knew that I couldn't get in at that point, it really inspired me just to sort of like double down and work hard. And you know, I used to kind of beat myself up like, they're at music school, so I've got to work twice as hard. And I think that's really healthy to a certain extent. I think that, you know, the more work you put in, the better. The more dedicated you are, the better. The more inspired you are, the better. Go get lessons with great guys. You know, go to jam sessions, hang out in local gigs where you're going to meet other musicians, and all of that stuff will really contribute to your progression as a musician. And yeah, you could go to music school, but you don't have to at all. So don't let it discourage you guys if you can't go to music school. It's absolutely not the be all and end all. And if you think at any point that going to music school is going to do the work for you, then you shouldn't go to music school. It's, you know, that's just not going to happen. Okay, so the next question is from Steve-O. Maybe not Steve-O from, what's that program that Steve-O was on? Jackass? I don't think it's that Steve-O. Anyway, Steve-O, super short question, but really interesting. Would you recommend gigging on cruise ships? So would I recommend gigging on cruise ships? So just to sort of give a bit of a backstory about me, really, like I did a gig playing in the theatre for about 12 months. That was my first pro gig that I ever had. And before that, I hardly played bass at all. It was just a fluke. I ended up getting the gig. It was really great. But I really couldn't play at the end of it. I could play the tunes in the show. It's like a theatre band I was playing in. But then I went on to luckily get a gig on a cruise ship. And I didn't have enough experience to do this. They shouldn't have taken me with them, but they had no choice. I got the phone call 2 weeks before they were going, and they were going for 6 months. So trying to find a bass player to drop everything and only giving them 2 weeks notice is pretty much impossible, which is why I could go. And for me, at that time in my life, which was my early 20s, maybe like 21, it was the best experience I've ever had as a musician in terms of raw learning materials, boom, just being force-fed it every night. It was fantastic. So there's a few really fantastic things about it. The first thing, the MD, the musical director, was a super hard ass and didn't give me any. It was just like, you know, if I didn't do the gig, if I didn't get up to speed, I would be sent home. You know, and that was clear when I went out to gig with that band. If you do not get your shit together, we are going to send you home, okay? So that was really good. It was tough, but it was a really good experience because it really meant that I got my shit together, right? The second thing was I was playing a ton of different tunes. So we were doing 2 hours or 2 45-minute sets of jazz style loungy music. Like swings and bosses and sambas and mambos and everything in between, and then doing 3 pop sets after that as well, 3 45-minute sets. So we were like playing sort of like 5 sets a night, 45, so pretty much 5 hours a night, right, give or take. It probably came up at, if you add it all together, probably came to sort of like 4 hours or something like that, but hell, it felt like 5 hours. So I was playing like 5 hours a night, all of these tunes that I didn't know, and I had to learn. I had to just get them down on the spot sometimes. It was super scary. And the musicians as well were really great. Now, it can be a mixed bag on the cruise ship. Sometimes you get a great band, sometimes not, but it's still a really, really great learning experience, just simply because of the tunes that you need to play and the concentration that it takes to do 5 sets a night it's challenging if you've not done that before. And some great guys have done cruise ships as well. You know, I was talking to Tim LaFave, probably like this time last year actually, over in LA, and he was talking about when he was on the cruise ships with Zach Danziger, and you know, and they were doing that whole thing as well. So there's some fantastic musicians that have done the cruise ships, and I think it's a really, really good learning environment to put all of that stuff that you've been practicing into a real life situation, you know, into a real life situation. Now there's other cool stuff as well that comes with cruise ships. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty, okay? You can get to see the world for free, which I did, which was amazing. It blew my mind. You get to save a bit of money as well, because all your digs, you know, your digs, do you call it in the States? Digs? We call it digs over in the UK. But like your rent's paid for, basically. You get free accommodation, you get free food. That blew my mind as well. And you're pretty much taken care of, and all you need to do is play every night and take care of business, and you can have a really good time. And some great parties as well. Let's not forget the parties. And it's, you know, and that's what I would say. For me, it's kind of a young man's game. Now, there might be a lot of people that take offense to that, but I'm going to back that up by saying, in terms of your network, on a cruise ship, it's really isolated. Like, and you'll meet other cruise ship musicians, but it's all within this small clique. And then when you get back on dry land, that all your previous connections that you had will be using other bass players and all that thing, you know. So if you do go away and do sort of like a 6-month or a 12-month cruise, or, you know, some guys I know have been on for years, when you do decide to come back to dry land and carry on with your career as a musician, you're going to have to rekindle relationships or start fresh ones and work on networking and all of that type of thing as well. But, you know, it's definitely not a reason not to do it. I would just bear that in mind. But in terms of, like, man, if you're in your 20s or something like that, man, just go for it. Just go for it, because it's a really, really great experience, and just great on all accounts. It was something that I would absolutely do again and again and again and again if I was in the same time of my life, really. Back when in my early 20s, it was just what a scream. What a scream. Okay, and for the final question, and I'm going to do this one just because I'm going to talk about it in a video that's coming up, because I think it's really interesting. More interesting than I think people think it is. Octopod, great name by the way, Octopod, is simply asking jazz bass versus P bass. So, jazz bass versus P bass. I'm not going to talk about it too much, because I really want to get into this in a video that I'm going to do in a few weeks' time. But essentially, it depends. Like they just sound completely different, and I'm really going to go in the video that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go over why they sound different, and how not only do they sound different, but they can actually affect the way you play. And I think that's really, really interesting, and something not a lot of people take into account, that sound on a bass is one thing, but that sound that the bass produces can actually make you play in a different way. So not only is it what do you prefer the sound of, okay, because that's one thing, it's which of those basses makes you play the way that you prefer. I'm just going to say that again, right? I'm going to try and say it. I've had 3 beers. So it is obviously like which bass you prefer the sound of. They're very different. But also, which bass do you prefer? How can I say this? Yeah. Which of the basses, when you play them, you're going to play them differently, and it's going to bring certain elements of your technique and musicianship out in different ways. Well, instead of just thinking about the bass, think about the way you play them, and which of those you prefer when you play a jazz bass or play a P bass. I'm going to be talking about this in a video that's coming up, so keep an eye out, guys. That's all I'm going to leave you with the jazz bass and P bass thing. I don't want to go into it too much, because I'd really like to have a jazz bass and a P bass to really demonstrate that. But I think it's really interesting, and definitely next time you are picking up a couple of different basses, just check out how you play on different basses according to the sound that the bass produces. Super interesting topic. Anyway guys, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on in this completely tired state that I'm in after probably too many beers. I've only had 3 beers, but that's probably too many for today. I'm absolutely bushed. And if you've got any questions, man, just leave them in the comments, and I'd love to check them out, and we'll do further Q&As and stuff in the future. But tomorrow we're going to be doing some cool stuff in the studio here in Brooklyn, and then as the days go by, we're working with Cody Wright and Rich Brown, Steve Jenkins, Damien Erskine. Like Steve Jenkins and Damien Erskine are staying here at the same time, so I'm going to get that on camera. Hopefully they've got their basses with them, and they'll maybe have a shred off between Damien and Steve. Oh, I'd love to get in on that as well. A shred off. And who else we've got coming out? Rich Brown's coming out. Rufus Philpott's going to come out. Evan Marion's coming out. Jonathan Maron's going to be coming out. Man, it's going to be awesome. Anyway guys, hopefully you're all doing wicked out there, and as always, take it easy, and I'll see you in the shed. The 2015 Kickstarter challenge.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Hey everybody.
Hi everybody.
Hello all. Hello.